So this is a quick look at the specifics of the enhancement that occurs when you're adding timing metrics. So first of all, there's some static fields that are added. There's one static field for each method that's being enhanced. So here we've got, so for example, 3 static fields. We would have 3 methods that were being enhanced for timing metrics. Those are initialized, those are static fields, so there's a static method for initializing them, and that's called a static initialization block. So that's all initialized at class load time. And then for each method, we're using, under the hood, we're using ASM, so we're using ASM advice adapter, and each method would look something like this. We would have 2 additional local variables. One here is a Boolean flag, so this is going to be true if we're collecting per request timing for this invocation of this method. The second variable here is just the nanotimes of the start, and we pass these 2 local variables down when we exit the method. So when we exit successfully with one of the normal return codes, or if we end with an error, this would be opcode would be an athrow opcode, and we're spitting out the start time and whether this is an active request for per request timings. And we're using this opcode so that we keep the enhancement nice and simple and don't add too much overhead here. If the active thread context is true, then there is some additional work that goes on to add specific details to something that looks like a stack. Pretty much looks like a call stack, I guess, in the end. In terms of overhead, I've micro benchmarked this, so it comes in at 130 something nanoseconds. 133 was my one, and so what this means is that in terms of overhead, if you're invoking something that's enhanced about 7,000 times with this overhead of 140 nanoseconds, you'd add about 1 millisecond to the execution time. So that's roughly the overhead that we're adding via this enhancement. Micro benchmarks are tough, but I'm pretty happy that this is a pretty good number that you can use.